What if a civilization so advanced it rivaled the gods, vanished in a single night, swallowed by the sea, leaving no trace but a whisper in an ancient tale? Atlantis, a name that ignites the imagination, a lost world of golden temples, impossible technology, and a cataclysm that erased it from history. Was it real, a beacon of humanity's forgotten past, or a philosopher's fiction designed to warn us of our own downfall? Could its secrets lie hidden beneath the ocean or even point to visitors from the stars? Tonight, we unravel the enigma that has haunted explorers and dreamers for millennia, diving into a mystery that might just rewrite everything we know. Greetings, seekers of the unknown, to Mystery History for Sleep. I'm Mr. H, your guide through the shadows of history, where myths and truths intertwine. Atlantis is no ordinary legend. It's a puzzle that has defied scholars, scientists, and adventurers for over 2,000 years. First told by the Greek philosopher Plato in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, this story of a utopian island larger than continents, richer than empires, captivates us with its promise of a lost golden age. But what makes Atlantis so compelling? Is it the vision of a society that mastered the seas and built cities of dazzling complexity, only to be consumed by a catastrophe of biblical proportions? Or is it the possibility that its ruins are out there, waiting to be found, holding answers to questions we haven't dared to ask? Plato described Atlantis as a paradise beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar, where the Mediterranean meets the vast unknown of the Atlantic. This was a land of staggering abundance, fertile plains bursting with crops, forests alive with creatures, and mountains brimming with resources. At its heart stood a capital city unlike any other, a marvel of engineering with concentric rings of water and land, connected by canals and guarded by walls that gleamed with red, white, and black stone. These walls were coated in precious metals, brass, tin, and a mysterious substance called orichalcum, said to be more valuable than gold. Towering over the city was a temple to Poseidon, the sea god worshipped by the Atlanteans, housing a colossal golden statue of the deity commanding a chariot drawn by winged horses. The Atlanteans, Plato tells us, were no ordinary people. Descended from Poseidon and a mortal woman named Clytus, they built a society of unparalleled sophistication. Their fleets ruled the seas, their armies were unmatched, and their culture blended wisdom with innovation. They engineered canals for transport and irrigation, crafted metals with advanced techniques, and organized their city with a precision that feels almost otherworldly. For generations, they lived in harmony, their divine heritage guiding them toward prosperity. But this utopia was not destined to endure. As their power grew, so did their ambition. Greed replaced virtue, and the Atlanteans sought to conquer the world, including the virtuous city of Athens, which Plato held up as a moral ideal. This hubris, he claimed, provoked the wrath of the gods, who unleashed a devastating punishment, earthquakes and floods that sank Atlantis into the abyss in a single day and night. This dramatic tale raises a cascade of questions. How could a civilization so grand vanish without leaving a single relic? Could a natural disaster, an earthquake, a tsunami, or a volcanic eruption really obliterate an entire island in mere hours? Some scholars argue Plato crafted Atlantis as a philosophical allegory, a warning about the dangers of pride and unchecked power. Others believe he drew from real events, perhaps a garbled memory of a catastrophe that reshaped an ancient culture. The eruption of Thera in the Aegean Sea, which devastated the Minoan civilization around 1600 BCE, is a prime suspect. Its massive explosion and resulting tsunami could have inspired Plato's story, passed down through generations. But could there be more to it, something that challenges the boundaries of history itself? Here's where the mystery takes a provocative turn. No physical evidence of Atlantis has ever been found, no ruins, no artifacts, no inscriptions beyond Plato's words. Yet, this absence only fuels the fire of speculation. Explorers have scoured the globe, from the sunlit waters of the Mediterranean to the icy depths of the Atlantic, from Caribbean reefs to desert sands. Some point to the island of Santorini, where the Minoan ruins of Akrotiri lie buried under volcanic ash. Others look to submerged structures off Japan's Yonaguni, or a strange formation in the Sahara called the Eye of the Desert. Each theory pulls us deeper into the question: could Atlantis be more than a myth, a forgotten chapter of our past waiting to be rediscovered? Now, let's push the boundaries further. What if Atlantis wasn't just a human achievement, but a civilization touched by forces beyond our world? Modern theorists, inspired by ancient texts and unexplained archaeological finds, propose ideas that sound like science fiction. Could the Atlanteans have wielded technology so advanced it seems alien? The mention of orichalcum, a metal unknown to modern science, sparks intrigue. Was it a rare alloy, as some suggest, or something far stranger, a material from another realm? Stories of mythical crystals powering entire cities have long circulated in fringe circles, whispered about in books and documentaries that explore ancient mysteries. Some even claim Atlantis was a hub for extraterrestrial visitors, a base where beings from the stars shared knowledge before a cosmic catastrophe erased it all. These ideas, while dismissed by mainstream scholars, resonate with a deeper truth. Humanity has always looked to the stars for answers. Across cultures, from the Sumerians to the Maya, myths speak of lost worlds and great floods, of godlike beings who shaped civilization. Could these be fragments of a shared memory, a global network of advanced societies with Atlantis at its heart? The possibility is tantalizing. What if the destruction of Atlantis wasn't a natural disaster, but a deliberate actor reset of a civilization that grew too powerful, too close to secrets meant to stay hidden? The lack of evidence only deepens the allure, suggesting a cover-up or a loss so complete it defies our understanding. Why does Atlantis endure in our collective psyche? It's more than a story. It's a mirror reflecting our desire to uncover the unknown, to prove our ancestors achieved greatness beyond our imagination. It's a challenge to science, a call to explore the uncharted corners of our world. Whether Atlantis lies beneath the waves, in the sands of a desert, or only in the pages of Plato's dialogues, it remains a beacon of mystery. It whispers of a time when humanity touched the divine, only to fall into oblivion. As we continue this journey, we'll delve into Plato's detailed vision of Atlantis, a world so vivid it feels within reach. We'll explore its golden temples, its intricate canals, and the clues that might reveal its true location. Prepare to step into a realm where myth and reality blur, where the past holds secrets that could change everything we believe. Imagine a city where golden statues tower over canals that pulse like the veins of a living metropolis, where walls shimmer with metals unknown to modern science, and where a civilization thrives in harmony with the divine. This is the Atlantis of Plato's vision, a utopia so vivid it feels like it could rise from the sea tomorrow. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, written over 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher crafted a world that blends breathtaking splendor with haunting mystery. As we step into this ancient tale, we'll uncover the intricate details of a society that seems too extraordinary to be mere fiction. What secrets did Atlantis hold? And why does its story pull us into a labyrinth of wonder, where the boundaries of history and imagination blur? Plato's Atlantis is not just a place, it's a testament to human potential and peril. He describes an island larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined, a vast landmass positioned beyond the Pillars of Hercules, where the Mediterranean meets the untamed Atlantic. This was no ordinary realm. Its plains overflowed with crops, its forests teemed with life, and its mountains yielded treasures that fueled an empire. At the heart of this paradise stood a capital city, a masterpiece of design that married nature and ingenuity. Picture concentric rings of water and land, alternating like ripples in a cosmic pond, each ring fortified with walls and connected by canals. These waterways were not just for beauty. They were arteries of commerce, defense, and survival, allowing ships to glide effortlessly while guarding the city from invaders. The capital's architecture was a marvel in itself. Plato tells us of walls clad in red, white, and black stone, quarried from the island's depths, and coated with metals that gleamed under the sun. Brass and tin adorned the outer rings, but the innermost walls sparkled with orichalcum, a substance so rare and precious it outshone gold. What was this mysterious metal? Some scholars suggest it was a copper alloy, prized for its fiery hue, but others whisper of something more extraordinary, perhaps a material lost to time, its origins tied to secrets we can't yet fathom. The city's centerpiece was a temple dedicated to Poseidon, the sea god revered as the father of the Atlantean race. Inside stood a statue of Poseidon, colossal and crafted entirely of gold, driving a chariot pulled by 6 winged horses, a symbol of divine power and dominion over the seas. This temple was more than a monument. It was the spiritual heart of Atlantis. According to Plato, the Atlanteans traced their lineage to Poseidon and Cleitus, a mortal woman who bore 10 sons, each destined to rule a portion of the island. The eldest, Atlas, gave his name to both Atlantis and the Atlantic Ocean, a legacy that echoes through history. These divine descendants governed a society that, for generations, embodied virtue and wisdom. Their laws were inscribed on a pillar of orichalcum within the temple, a sacred code that bound the 10 kingdoms in unity. Every 5 or 6 years, the kings gathered in a ritual of solemn judgment, sacrificing bulls to honor Poseidon and renewing their oath to uphold justice. This harmony, Plato writes, allowed Atlantis to flourish as a beacon of prosperity and power. The island's geography was as remarkable as its culture. Plato describes a vast central plain stretching 2,000 by 3,000 stadia roughly, 370 by 555 kilometers, larger than many modern nations. This plain, framed by towering mountains, was a breadbasket of fertility, fed by rivers and springs that sustained abundant harvests. The mountains themselves were rich with resources, from timber to minerals, including the enigmatic orichalcum, which Plato says was mined in many parts of the island. The capital, perched near the sea, was linked to the coast by a great canal, 50 stadia long, about 9 kilometers, allowing ships to ferry goods and people with ease. This canal, flanked by watchtowers and gates, was a testament to Atlantean engineering, blending utility with impregnable defense. The urban design of Atlantis was a triumph of planning. The concentric rings, 3 of water and 2 of land, served multiple purposes. The water rings were navigable, forming moats that protected the city while doubling as transport routes. Bridges and tunnels connected the rings, their arches wide enough for ships to pass. The outermost ring was a bustling port, alive with vessels from across the known world, while the inner rings housed palaces, gardens, and gymnasiums. The walls encircling each ring were not just fortifications but works of art, their surfaces gleaming with metal coatings that reflected the island's wealth. Plato notes that the Atlanteans built aqueducts to channel fresh water from the mountains and hot springs from beneath the earth, a feat that hints at advanced hydraulic knowledge. Beyond the capital, Atlantis was a sprawling empire, its influence stretching across Europe and Africa. Its navy was unmatched, with thousands of ships that controlled the seas. Its armies, Plato claims, were vast, organized with precision, and equipped with chariots, cavalry, and infantry. The Atlanteans were not just warriors but innovators, cultivating crops with sophisticated techniques and managing resources with an efficiency that rivaled modern systems. Their markets buzzed with trade, drawing merchants from distant lands, and their culture fostered art, music, and philosophy. This was a society that seemed to have mastered every facet of civilization, from governance to technology, creating a utopia that stood as a pinnacle of human achievement. But what makes Plato's account so intriguing is its specificity. He doesn't just describe a vague paradise. He provides measurements, materials, and societal structures with a precision that feels almost documentary. The plain's dimensions, the canal's length, the temple's grandeur are recounted with a clarity that suggests a real place, not a fanciful invention. Yet, this very detail raises questions. Why would Plato, a philosopher known for his allegories, craft such an elaborate story? Was he recording a lost history, passed down through generations, or weaving a fiction to illustrate his ideas about the ideal state? The dialogues suggest Atlantis was a real place, its story relayed from Egyptian priests to the Athenian Solon, then to Plato's ancestor Critias. But no other ancient source corroborates this tale, leaving us to wonder if Atlantis was a memory or a myth. The Atlanteans' divine origins add another layer of fascination. Plato describes their lineage from Poseidon as a source of both pride and responsibility. For centuries, they honored this heritage, ruling with justice and fostering a society where wealth and wisdom coexisted. Their kings met in the temple of Poseidon, conducting rituals under starlight, their decisions guided by sacred laws. This divine connection, Plato suggests, was the key to their prosperity. But it also hints at something deeper: a civilization that saw itself as chosen, perhaps even guided by forces beyond the human realm. Could this divine narrative conceal a truth about their origins, one that modern science struggles to explain? As we linger on this image of Atlantis, a city of golden splendor, encircled by water, thriving under divine patronage, we can't help but feel its pull. It's a vision that feels both impossibly distant and tantalizingly close, a world that could have existed in a forgotten corner of history. But Plato's story doesn't end with glory. The Atlanteans' downfall, a tragedy of hubris and divine wrath, looms on the horizon. Their ambition led them to challenge the gods, to seek dominion over the world, including the virtuous Athens. This fatal flaw set the stage for a catastrophe that would erase Atlantis from the earth, leaving only echoes in Plato's words. As we prepare to explore the cataclysm that swallowed Atlantis, we carry forward a question: how could a civilization so advanced vanish so completely? Was it a natural disaster, a divine punishment, or something stranger still? The details of Plato's Atlantis, its rings, its metals, its divine lineage paint, a picture too vivid to dismiss. They beckon us to look closer, to search for clues in the ruins of history or the depths of the sea. In the next chapter of our journey, we'll delve into the destruction of this lost world, asking whether earthquakes and floods were the true culprits, or if a more mysterious force sealed its fate. Join me as we chase the shadow of Atlantis, where the line between myth and reality grows ever thinner. A golden empire, radiant with divine favor, stood at the pinnacle of human achievement. Its fleets conquered the seas, its cities gleamed with unearthly metals, and its people lived as heirs to a god. Yet, in a single day and night, Atlantis vanished, swallowed by the earth, drowned by the sea, erased as if it had never been. How could a civilization so mighty fall so swiftly? Was it the wrath of nature, a divine curse, or something far stranger, a force beyond our comprehension? As we unravel the collapse of this legendary island, we'll probe the shadows of Plato's tale, seeking answers in the tremors of history and the whispers of the unknown. What doomed Atlantis, and could its fate hold warnings for us today? Plato's account of Atlantis's downfall is as dramatic as it is enigmatic. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, he paints a vivid picture of a society that lost its way. For generations, the Atlanteans thrived under the guidance of their divine ancestor, Poseidon. Their 10 kings, descendants of the sea god and the mortal Clitus, ruled with wisdom, bound by sacred laws inscribed on a pillar of orichalcum. These laws ensured harmony, forbidding the kings from warring against one another and mandating mutual aid in times of crisis. Every 5 or 6 years, they gathered in the temple of Poseidon, performing rituals under the stars, sacrificing bulls, and renewing their commitment to justice. This unity, Plato writes, was the cornerstone of Atlantis's golden age, a time when virtue and prosperity walked hand in hand. But even the mightiest empires can falter. Plato tells us that over time, the Atlanteans' divine spark began to fade. The blood of Poseidon, once a source of nobility, grew diluted through generations of mortal lineage. With it, their moral compass wavered. Greed crept into their hearts, replacing wisdom with ambition. The once just kings became tyrants, their eyes fixed on conquest rather than stewardship. Atlantis, once a beacon of harmony, turned its gaze outward, seeking to dominate the world. Plato describes their ambition as boundless. They aimed to subdue lands from Libya to Egypt, from Europe to the Tyrrhenian Sea. Their fleets and armies, once symbols of strength, became tools of aggression, poised to crush any who stood in their way. At the heart of this tale lies a pivotal moment, the Atlanteans' audacious challenge to Athens, a city Plato portrays as the epitome of virtue and resilience. In his narrative, Athens stood alone against the Atlantean juggernaut, a small but morally superior force facing a colossal empire. Against all odds, the Athenians prevailed, their victory a testament to their integrity and courage. But this triumph was only the prelude to a greater reckoning. The gods, Plato writes, looked upon Atlantis' hubris with disdain. Their lust for power, their betrayal of divine principles, could not go unpunished. In a single, terrifying day and night, the heavens unleashed their fury. Earthquakes shook the island to its core, floods surged from the depths, and Atlantis sank beneath the waves, leaving nothing but a muddy shoal where a mighty civilization once stood. This cataclysm, described with chilling brevity, is the crux of Atlantis' story. Plato's words are stark. In one dreadful day and night, Atlantis disappeared into the sea. But what could cause such a sudden, total destruction? A natural disaster of unprecedented scale seems the most plausible culprit. Earthquakes and tsunamis are not uncommon in the ancient world, particularly in the Mediterranean, a region crisscrossed by fault lines and volcanic activity. The eruption of Thera, around 1600 BCE, is a leading candidate. This volcanic explosion, one of the largest in human history, devastated the Minoan civilization on Crete and Santorini, sending tsunamis crashing across the Aegean. The parallels are striking. A maritime culture, advanced for its time, obliterated by nature's wrath. Could Plato have woven this real event into his tale, transforming a historical tragedy into a mythic warning? Yet, the scale of Atlantis' destruction, its complete erasure, challenges even this explanation. The Minoan collapse, while catastrophic, left ruins, artifacts, and a legacy that archaeologists have pieced together. Atlantis, by contrast, offers no such traces. Its absence from the archaeological record fuels speculation that Plato's story might be more than a distorted memory of a real event. Could it be a philosophical construct? A cautionary tale about the fragility of greatness? Plato was no stranger to allegory, using stories to explore ideas about justice, governance, and morality. Atlantis, with its rise and fall, mirrors his warnings about societies that stray from virtue. The gods' punishment, in this view, is a metaphor for the inevitable collapse of any civilization consumed by greed. But let's venture into stranger territory. What if the fall of Atlantis was not merely a natural disaster or a divine allegory, but something more extraordinary? Some modern theorists propose that Atlantis possessed technology so advanced it bordered on the supernatural. The mention of orichalcum, a metal unknown to us, and the intricate engineering of their canals and walls hint at knowledge beyond the Bronze Age. Could the Atlanteans have harnessed energies we don't yet understand, perhaps crystalline power sources, as some fringe theories suggest? If so, their destruction might have been self-inflicted, the result of a technological mishap. Imagine a civilization tampering with forces too potent to control a reactor of ancient design, overloading, triggering quakes and floods that sank the island. Such a scenario, while speculative, adds a layer of intrigue to Plato's sparse account. Even more provocative are theories that look beyond Earth. Some claim Atlantis was a hub for extraterrestrial visitors, its technology a gift from beings who walked among the Atlanteans. The suddenness of its destruction could suggest an intervention, a deliberate act, to erase a civilization that grew too powerful or misused alien knowledge. These ideas, popularized by authors like Erich von Däniken, point to parallels in other ancient myths, tales of gods descending from the heavens, of floods sent to cleanse the earth, the Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh, the biblical story of Noah, and Mesoamerican legends all speak of deluges that reshaped the world. Could these be echoes of a shared catastrophe, with Atlantis at its epicenter? To ground these wild theories, let's consider the societal factors Plato emphasizes. The Atlanteans' decline began not with a single act, but with a gradual erosion of values. Their divine lineage, once a source of pride, became a forgotten relic. The kings, no longer seen as demigods, ruled with impunity, their decisions driven by power rather than principle. Plato describes their gatherings growing contentious, their unity fracturing as ambition took hold. This internal decay made Atlantis vulnerable, not just to divine wrath but to external threats. The war with Athens, though victorious for the Greeks, may have weakened the island, stretching its resources and exposing its flaws. When the final blow came, whether quake, flood, or something else, Atlantis was already a civilization on the brink. The absence of Atlantis in the historical record is perhaps the greatest mystery of all. If such a grand empire existed, where are its relics? No pottery, no tools, no inscriptions bear its name. This void has led many to dismiss Plato's story as fiction, a philosophical exercise rather than a historical account. Yet, the specificity of his descriptions, the measurements of the plain, the layout of the city, the rituals of the kings, suggests a kernel of truth. Could Atlantis be a memory of a real place, its details distorted by time and oral tradition? The story, Plato claims, came from Egyptian priests via Solon, a respected Athenian. Egypt, with its ancient records, was a repository of knowledge even in Plato's day. Might they have preserved a tale of a lost civilization, perhaps one that predates known history? Another possibility is that Atlantis was not a single island, but a composite of several cultures. The Minoans, with their maritime prowess and advanced architecture, are a strong candidate. Their palaces, like Knossos on Crete, featured complex water systems and vibrant art, echoing Plato's descriptions. The catastrophic eruption of Thera could have inspired the tale of a sinking island, its memory carried to Egypt and beyond. Other scholars point to the Tartessian culture in Spain, a wealthy society near the Pillars of Hercules, known for trade and metallurgy. Could Plato have blended these real places into a single mythic narrative, amplifying their grandeur to serve his philosophical ends? The fall of Atlantis, whether real or allegorical, carries a timeless lesson. Plato uses it to illustrate the fragility of even the greatest societies. When virtue gives way to greed, when unity fractures into ambition, collapse is inevitable. This message resonates today, as we grapple with our own challenges, environmental crises, political strife, technological hubris. Could Atlantis be a warning from the past, urging us to tread carefully lest we share its fate? The image of a civilization vanishing in a day is haunting, a reminder that no empire is eternal, no matter how grand. As we reflect on Atlantis's demise, we're left with more questions than answers. Was it a quake that shattered the island, a tsunami that drowned it, or a force we can't yet name? The waves have closed over Atlantis, erasing a civilization that once shone like a star. Its golden temples, intricate canals, and divine legacy are gone, leaving only Plato's words to guide us. But where was this fabled island? Beyond the Pillars of Hercules, Plato said, in a realm beyond the known world. For centuries, this vague clue has sent explorers, scholars, and dreamers on a global quest, scouring oceans, deserts, and frozen wastes for traces of a lost empire. From volcanic ruins in the Mediterranean to enigmatic structures in the Pacific, from desert formations to sunken shores, each theory offers a tantalizing glimpse of possibility. Could Atlantis lie hidden beneath the sea? Or is it staring us in the face, cloaked in plain sight? As we chase these clues, we'll unravel a tapestry of science, speculation, and wild imagination, each thread pulling us closer to the truth or deeper into the mystery. Plato's only hint about Atlantis's location is both precise and maddeningly elusive. It lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar, where the Mediterranean spills into the Atlantic. For the Greeks, this was the edge of reality, a boundary where the familiar world gave way to the unknown. But what lies beyond? A vast ocean, scattered islands, or something else entirely? This single clue has sparked countless theories, each vying to pinpoint Atlantis on our planet. Some are grounded in archaeology, others in wild conjecture, but all share a common thread: the belief that something as grand as Atlantis must have left a mark, somewhere, somehow. Let's embark on this global hunt, exploring the most compelling candidates for Atlantis's resting place, from the plausible to the fantastical. First, we turn to the Mediterranean, where the island of Santorini ancient Thera stands as a leading contender. Around 1600 BCE, a catastrophic volcanic eruption rocked the Aegean Sea, one of the most powerful in recorded history. It obliterated much of Santorini, leaving a crescent-shaped archipelago and burying the Minoan settlement of Akrotiri under layers of ash. The parallels with Atlantis are striking. The Minoans were a maritime power, their culture advanced with intricate palaces, vibrant frescoes, and sophisticated plumbing geckos of Plato's descriptions. The eruption triggered tsunamis that likely devastated Crete, 110 kilometers away, weakening the Minoan civilization. Could this be the cataclysm that inspired Plato's tale? Excavations led by archaeologist Spiridon Marinatos in the 1960s revealed Akrotiri's well-preserved ruins, with no human remains, suggesting the inhabitants fled before the disaster. The concentric shape of Santorini's caldera, formed by the eruption, even recalls Atlantis's ringed city. Yet, there's a catch. Santorini is inside the Pillars of Hercules, not beyond, and its timeline 1600 BCEs, far later than Plato's 9,000 years before Athens. Was Plato exaggerating? Or did he draw from a garbled memory of this real event? Next, we venture closer to Plato's geographic clue, to the waters near the Strait of Gibraltar. Here lies the submerged bank of Magellan, also known as Spartel, a sunken island off the coast of Morocco, now resting 56 meters beneath the Atlantic. Geologist Jacques Girard proposed in 2001 that this could be Atlantis. Around 12,000 years ago, as the last ice age ended, rising sea levels flooded the region, submerging Spartel. Colina Girard suggests a massive earthquake, estimated at 9.0 on the Richter scale, struck around 9,400 BCE, triggering tsunamis that completed the island's demise. This timeline aligns eerily with Plato's 9,000-year mark, and the location just beyond the pillars fits his description. The region's geological instability, with fault lines crisscrossing the Atlantic, supports the idea of a sudden catastrophe, but evidence is scarce. No ruins or artifacts have been found on Spartel's submerged banks, and its small size, likely a modest island, hardly matches Plato's vast empire. Still, the coincidence of time and place keeps this theory alive, a whisper of possibility in the depths. Farther into the Atlantic, the Azores Islands emerge as another candidate. This volcanic archipelago, 1,500 kilometers west of Lisbon, sits on the mid-Atlantic ridge, a hotbed of tectonic activity. In 1882, Ignatius Donnelly, in his book Atlantis, The Antediluvian World, argued that the Azores were the peaks of Atlantis's sunken mountains. Their location in the Atlantic, beyond the pillars, aligns with Plato's account, and their volcanic nature suggests a potential for catastrophic destruction. Early 20th century geologist Pierre-Marie Termier supported this idea, noting the region's geological upheaval. Yet, modern science pours cold water on this theory. The Azores are young volcanic islands, their formation spanning millions of years, with no evidence of a sunken continent. Samples from the ocean floor show no signs of a lost landmass, and the island's steep slopes don't match Plato's fertile plains. The Azores remain a romantic notion, but one that crumbles under scrutiny. Nearby, the Canary Islands, Madeira, and Cape Verde have also been proposed as Atlantis's remnants. These Atlantic archipelagos, close to Gibraltar, captivated 18th and 19th century thinkers like Jean-Baptiste Bory de Saint-Vincent and Louis Spence. Their proximity to the pillars and their volcanic origins make them plausible at first glance. The Canary Islands, in particular, boast a rich history, with the indigenous Guanche people leaving behind mummies and stone structures. But geological studies reveal a fatal flaw. These islands have been rising, not sinking, for millions of years. No evidence suggests a submerged civilization, and their small size pales beside Plato's colossal island. Like the Azores, these are beautiful but unlikely candidates, their allure more poetic than scientific. Now, let's cross the globe to Japan, where the Yonaguni Monument stirs debate. Discovered in 1985 by diver Kihachiro Aratake off Yonaguni Island, this underwater formation of massive stone blocks resembles carved terraces, stairways, and platforms. Geologist Masaki Kimura, who studied the site for decades, argues it's man-made, possibly the ruins of a 10,000-year-old civilization sometimes called Japan's Atlantis. The structure's sharp angles and apparent symmetry suggest human craftsmanship, with some stones bearing what appear to be carved lines. Could this be a Pacific counterpart to Plato's island? The timeline, coinciding with the end of the Ice Age, fits the idea of a coastal city submerged by rising seas. Yet, many scientists counter that Yonaguni is a natural formation, its geometric shapes the result of tectonic fracturing in a seismically active region. No artifacts or tools have been found to confirm human activity, leaving the site a battleground between imagination and evidence. Still, its eerie presence beneath the waves keeps the dream of a lost city alive. Back in the Atlantic, the Bimini Road off the Bahamas offers another enigma. This underwater structure, discovered in 1968, consists of large, rectangular stone blocks arranged in a seemingly orderly pattern, resembling a paved road or wall. Some enthusiasts, inspired by psychic Edgar Cayce's predictions, claim it's a relic of Atlantis, built by an advanced civilization. The block's sharp edges and alignment fuel speculation of human construction, but science tells a different story. Geologists identify these as beach rock, formed naturally by calcium carbonate deposits and eroded into geometric shapes by ocean currents. Similar formations exist elsewhere, with no need for ancient architects. The absence of artifacts or cultural traces further undermines the Atlantis connection. Yet, the Bimini Road's orderly appearance continues to captivate, a siren call to those seeking a lost world. In the Sahara Desert, the Richat structure, known as the Eye of the Desert, presents a mesmerizing possibility. This 50-kilometer-wide formation in Mauritania, visible from space, features concentric rings of rock that echo Plato's description of Atlantis's capital. Some speculate it was once a coastal city, submerged not by water but by shifting sands after a climatic change. The rings, formed by erosion and volcanic activity over millions of years, resemble a giant bullseye, with prehistoric artifacts like pottery and stone tools found nearby. But the evidence stops short. No major city ruins or advanced structures have been uncovered, and the region's arid history makes it an unlikely candidate for a maritime empire. The Richat structure is a geological marvel, but its link to Atlantis remains a stretch, a vision born of pattern-seeking minds. Let's push the boundaries further with a theory that defies convention. Atlantis in Antarctica. Some fringe researchers, inspired by Charles Hapgood's ideas of crustal displacement, propose that Antarctica, now icebound, was once a temperate land hosting a great civilization. Plato's island, they argue, could have been located here before a sudden shift in Earth's crust plunged it into the frozen south, burying it under glaciers. Ancient maps like the Piri-Reis map, which some claim depict an ice-free Antarctica, fuel this speculation. Yet, science is unequivocal. Antarctica has been encased in ice for millions of years, long before human civilization. No evidence of urban settlements or advanced technology has been found beneath its ice. This theory, while thrilling, leans heavily on imagination, offering little to anchor it in reality. Other locations have been proposed, each with its own allure. The Tartessian culture in southern Spain, near the Guadalquivir River, was a wealthy Bronze Age society linked to the Pillars of Hercules. Ancient sources like Herodotus describe its riches, and its sudden decline around 500 BCE mirrors Atlantis's fate. But Tartessos was a coastal city, not an island, and its ruins, while significant, don't match Plato's grand vision. Doggerland, a submerged land in the North Sea, connected Britain to Europe until 6500 BCE, but its hunter-gatherer inhabitants left no trace of an advanced empire. Even more speculative are suggestions of Atlantis in Scandinavia, Turkey's Izmir, or Bolivia's Altiplano, each dismissed for lacking the scale or maritime context Plato described. What unites these theories is the human drive to find Atlantis, to prove that a civilization of such grandeur could exist. Science offers glimpses of Truth Santorini's eruption, Spartel's submersion, but no definitive answer. The absence of artifacts, the mismatch of timelines, and the vastness of Plato's island challenge every hypothesis. Yet the search persists, driven by a question that burns as brightly today as it did in Plato's time. Where is Atlantis? Was it a real place, its memory distorted by oral tradition, or a philosopher's creation, meant to inspire and warn? If you're as captivated by this mystery as I am, join our quest by subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep and share your thoughts in the comments. Where do you think Atlantis lies? As we ponder this, we turn next to the technology that made Atlantis extraordinary. From its canals to its mysterious metals, could the Atlanteans have wielded knowledge that hints at a lost science or something stranger? Join me as we explore the marvels of this vanished world, seeking clues to its impossible brilliance. Atlantis gleams in our imagination as a city of wonders, its canals flowing with precision, its walls shimmering with metals unknown to modern science, and its people wielding knowledge that seems to defy their ancient era. Plato's vivid descriptions paint a civilization so advanced, it feels like a glimpse into a forgotten future. Were the Atlanteans masters of engineering and innovation, harnessing technologies that rivaled or surpassed our own? Or is this portrait of a super-civilization merely a philosopher's dream, a legend woven to dazzle and instruct? As we delve into the marvels of Atlantis's technology, we'll explore the tantalizing clues in Plato's texts, weigh them against the archaeological record, and venture into speculative realms where whispers of ancient science and otherworldly influence beckon. What secrets powered this lost world, and could they still lie hidden, waiting to reshape our understanding of the past? Plato's dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, offer a detailed blueprint of Atlantis's technological prowess, so specific it's hard to dismiss as pure fiction. At the heart of the island's capital was a system of concentric rings, 3 of water and 2 of land, designed with a precision that suggests a deep understanding of engineering. These rings were not just aesthetic, they were a masterpiece of urban planning, serving as moats for defense, channels for transport, and conduits for water management. The outermost ring, a bustling port, welcomed ships from across the known world, while canals linked the rings to the sea, allowing seamless movement of goods and people. A grand canal, 50 stadia long, 9 kilometers, connected the capital to the coast, its banks lined with watchtowers and gates that controlled access. This wasn't a haphazard city, it was a meticulously planned metropolis, its layout a testament to a society that mastered its environment. Water management was a cornerstone of Atlantean ingenuity. Plato describes aqueducts that channeled fresh water from mountain springs and hot springs from beneath the earth, supplying the city with drinking water and thermal energy. The rings of water doubled as irrigation channels, feeding the fertile plains that sustained Atlantis's abundant harvests. These plains, stretching 2,000 by 3,000 stadia, were a breadbasket of unparalleled productivity, hinting at advanced agricultural techniques. The Atlanteans likely employed crop rotation, soil enrichment, or even early forms of mechanized farming, maximizing yields in a way that would have been revolutionary for their time. Such systems require not just engineering but a sophisticated understanding of hydrology and agronomy, disciplines that took centuries to develop in other ancient cultures. The materials used in Atlantis's construction further fuel speculation about their technological capabilities. The city's walls, built from red, white, and black stone quarried from the island, were coated with metals, brass and tin on the outer rings, and orichalcum, a mysterious substance, on the innermost. Plato describes orichalcum as more precious than anything except gold, mined in many parts of the island, and used to adorn buildings and craft objects. What was this metal? Some scholars propose it was a copper alloy, perhaps bronze or a similar blend, valued for its reddish glow. Others speculate it could be a lost material, its composition unknown to modern science. The precision with which Atlanteans worked metals suggests advanced metallurgy, with techniques for smelting, alloying, and casting that rivaled or surpassed those of later civilizations, like the Egyptians or Greeks. The Temple of Poseidon, the spiritual and cultural heart of Atlantis, showcases this mastery. Plato describes a colossal structure, its walls and pillars encrusted with orichalcum, silver, and gold, creating a dazzling spectacle. At its center stood a massive statue of Poseidon, driving a chariot pulled by 6 winged horses, crafted entirely in gold. The engineering required to construct such a statue, likely tens of meters tall, would have demanded not only artistic skill, but also expertise in structural mechanics and materials science. The temple's design, with its intricate decorations and robust architecture, implies a society with both aesthetic sophistication and technical prowess, capable of feats that would challenge even modern builders. Atlantis's military infrastructure also hints at advanced technology. The concentric rings served as a formidable defense, with water moats acting as natural barriers and land rings fortified with walls and towers. Plato notes that each ring was guarded, with ships and troops stationed strategically to monitor access. The canals, navigable by large vessels, were patrolled, ensuring no enemy could approach undetected. This integration of natural and man-made defenses suggests a deep understanding of military engineering akin to the fortified cities of later empires. The Atlantean navy, with thousands of ships, dominated the seas, while their armies, equipped with chariots, cavalry, and infantry, projected power across continents. Such a military machine would require logistical systems, supply chains, communication networks, and training regimens that point to a highly organized society. Beyond these tangible achievements, Plato's descriptions spark questions about less visible technologies. The Atlanteans' ability to manage vast resources, food, water, minerals, implies administrative systems that rival modern bureaucracies. Their trade networks, drawing merchants from distant lands, suggest navigational tools and maritime knowledge that could include early forms of cartography or even primitive compasses. The fertility of their land, described as unmatched, may indicate agricultural innovations like terracing or irrigation pumps, techniques seen in later cultures like the Mesopotamians or Incas. These glimpses of sophistication paint Atlantis as a civilization that pushed the boundaries of what we believe possible in the ancient world. But let's step into the realm of speculation, where the line between history and fantasy blurs. Some modern theorists argue that Atlantis's technology was not just advanced but revolutionary, perhaps even alien in origin. The mention of orichalcum, a metal with no clear modern equivalent, fuels this idea. Could it have been a superconductor, a material with unique properties that powered Atlantean machines? Fringe theories propose that the Atlanteans harnessed energy from crystals, a concept echoed in myths from other cultures, like the sunstones of ancient texts. These crystals, some claim, could have generated power for lighting, machinery, or even weapons, explaining the island's dominance. While no archaeological evidence supports such claims, the precision of Plato's description-specific measurements, detailed layouts lends a veneer of plausibility to the idea of a lost science. This brings us to the most provocative theory, that Atlantis's technology was not entirely human. Some speculate that the Atlanteans were guided by extraterrestrial visitors, beings who imparted knowledge far beyond the Bronze Age. The golden statue of Poseidon, the advanced canal systems, the mysterious orichalcum could be traces of alien influence. Authors like Erich von Däniken, in works like Chariots of the Gods, point to parallels in other ancient sites. The precision, cut stones of Puma Punku, the astronomical alignments of Stonehenge, the pyramids of Egypt. Could Atlantis have been a hub for such contact, a place where humanity touched the stars? The suddenness of its destruction, some argue, suggests a deliberate act, perhaps the withdrawal of alien overseers, leaving the Atlanteans to collapse under the weight of their own ambition. To ground these ideas, let's compare Atlantis to known ancient civilizations. The Minoans, flourishing around 2000 BCE, built palaces with complex plumbing, much like Atlantis's aqueducts. The Egyptians mastered metallurgy and monumental architecture, crafting statues and temples that echo Plato's descriptions. The Indus Valley civilization, with its planned cities and drainage systems, rivals the urban sophistication of Atlantis's capital. Yet none of these cultures match the scale or sudden disappearance of Plato's island. The Minoans left ruins, the Egyptians left records, the Indus Valley left cities, but Atlantis left nothing. This absence challenges the idea of a super-civilization, suggesting Plato may have exaggerated real technologies to craft his narrative. Still, the parallels are intriguing. The Minoans' thalassocracy, or sea-based empire, mirrors Atlantis's naval dominance. Their frescoes depict vibrant trade networks, much like the markets Plato describes. The Egyptians' use of copper alloys could hint at orichalcum's identity, while their monumental statues rival Poseidon's golden effigy. Could Plato have drawn from these cultures, blending their achievements into a single, idealized vision? His Atlantis feels like a composite, a tapestry woven from the best of ancient ingenuity, amplified to mythic proportions. Yet, the specificity of his account, the exact dimensions of canals, the rituals in the temple suggests a source, perhaps a lost record from Egyptian archives or a forgotten oral tradition. The technological marvels of Atlantis also raise questions about its societal structure. To sustain such a civilization, the Atlanteans must have had a complex bureaucracy, with scribes, engineers, and planners coordinating their efforts. The rituals of the kings, described by Plato, imply a legal system rooted in tradition, with checks and balances to maintain unity. This level of organization requires education, literacy, and perhaps even early forms of science. Could the Atlanteans have developed mathematics, astronomy, or engineering principles that predate known discoveries? The absence of artifacts makes this impossible to prove, but the idea lingers, tantalizing us with the possibility of a lost golden age. As we marvel at Atlantis's achievements, we must confront the paradox. If their technology was so advanced, why did it vanish without a trace? Natural disasters, as we explored, could explain the island's destruction, but the lack of remnant pottery, tools, inscriptions suggests either a total obliteration or a fictional origin. Some argue that Atlantis's technology was so advanced it was deliberately hidden, perhaps by survivors who scattered across the world, carrying fragments of their knowledge to Egypt, Mesoamerica, or beyond. Others propose that the gods saw their extraterrestrial stand, insurrected Atlantis to protect its secrets, leaving humanity to rediscover its lost arts over millennia. The truth of Atlantis's technology remains elusive, a blend of plausible engineering and provocative speculation. Plato's account, with its vivid details, feels like a window into a real place, yet its absence from history casts it as a legend. Was Atlantis a super-civilization, its marvels lost to time, or a philosopher's creation, designed to inspire awe and reflection? As we ponder this, we turn next to other legendary cities, Dorado, Aztlán, places that, like Atlantis, ignite our imagination with tales of lost glory. Could these myths share a common thread, a memory of a forgotten world? Join me as we explore these vanished realms, seeking the secrets that bind them to the enigma of Atlantis. Let's begin with El Dorado, the city of gold that captivated the Spanish conquistadors and fueled centuries of exploration. Born in the 16th century amid the conquest of the Americas, this legend tells of a place so rich its streets were paved with gold, its rulers bathed in shimmering dust during sacred rituals. The story traces back to the Muisca people of modern-day Colombia, who inhabited the high plateaus of the Andes. The Muisca, a sophisticated culture known for their gold work, practiced a ceremony at Lake Guatavita, where their chief, coated in resin and dusted with gold powder, dove into the sacred waters as an offering to their gods. This Gilded Man El Dorado in Spanish became the seed of a legend that grew into a city of unimaginable wealth, its location shifting with each failed expedition. The Spanish, driven by tales of treasure, scoured the Andes for El Dorado. Explorers like Francisco Pizarro, who conquered the Inca, and Francisco de Orellana, who navigated the Amazon, chased rumors of a golden city hidden in the jungles of what is now Colombia, Venezuela, or even Guyana. The legend promised riches beyond comprehension, with temples adorned in gold and streets glittering with precious stones. Yet, every expedition met with failure, disease, hostile terrain, and death in the dense forests. The Muisca's real wealth, their intricate gold artifacts, was plundered, but no city of gold was ever found. Lake Guatavita, drained in the 19th century in a futile search for treasure, yielded only small offerings, not the fabled city. Was El Dorado a misunderstanding, a ritual inflated into a myth by greedy conquerors, or does a lost city still lie hidden in the Amazon's depths? The mystery deepens with tales of what El Dorado might represent. Some scholars suggest it was a metaphor for the Muisca's spiritual wealth, their reverence for gold as a sacred material rather than mere currency. Others propose it could be a real place, perhaps a trading hub buried under centuries of jungle growth. Recent archaeological discoveries in the Amazon, like the Upano Valley settlements, reveal complex societies with roads and canals, hinting at a sophistication that could have inspired such a legend. Could El Dorado be one of these lost cities, its golden aura, a poetic exaggeration of a thriving culture? Or is there a darker possibility that its location was deliberately obscured, its treasures hidden by survivors to protect them from invaders? Let's entertain a bolder idea. What if El Dorado was part of a larger network of advanced civilizations, perhaps linked to Atlantis itself? The Muisca's goldwork, with its precision and artistry, suggests a level of metallurgical skill that echoes Plato's orichalcum. Some fringe theorists propose that the Americas, like Atlantis, were visited by ancient travelers, perhaps even extraterrestrial ones, who shared knowledge of metallurgy and architecture. The legend of El Dorado, with its promise of otherworldly wealth, could be a distorted memory of such contact, a city where divine or alien gifts were enshrined. While mainstream archaeology dismisses these ideas, the persistence of golden city myths across cultures from the Inca's Paititi to India's Pataliputra suggests a shared human fascination with lost paradises. Now, we turn to Aztlán, the mythical homeland of the Aztecs, a name that means place of the herons in Nahuatl. According to legend, the Mexicartha people who built the mighty empire of Tenochtitlan originated in Aztlán, a mysterious island or land in the north. Around the late 13th century, guided by their god Huitzilopochtli, they left this ancestral home, embarking on a 200-year migration. Their journey ended when they saw a divine sign, an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. This vision, found on an island in Lake Texcoco, led them to found Tenochtitlan in 1325, now Mexico City. The image of the eagle and cactus endures on Mexico's flag, a testament to Aztlán's enduring power. But where was this fabled homeland, and what secrets did it hold? The Aztecs described Aztlán as a place of abundance, surrounded by water, with reeds and herons dotting its landscape. Some sources suggest it was a lake-bound city, perhaps in northern Mexico or the southwestern United States. One candidate is Mexcaltitan, a small island in Nayarit, Mexico, whose circular layout and watery setting mirror Tenochtitlan's design. Scholars speculate that the Mexica, in founding their capital, recreated Aztlán's image, building canals and pyramids to honor their lost home. Other theories place Aztlán farther north, in regions like Zacatecas or even New Mexico, where ancient lake beds hint at a once thriving environment. Yet, no definitive archaeological evidence, inscriptions, or artifactures confirmed Aztlán's location, leaving it shrouded in mystery. The enigma of Aztlán invites speculation. Was it a real city, a cultural memory of a prosperous settlement lost to drought or conflict? The Aztecs' detailed accounts, recorded by Spanish chroniclers, suggest a historical basis, but oral traditions blur the line between fact and myth. Some propose Aztlán was a symbolic place, a spiritual origin rather than a physical one, embodying the Mexica's identity. Others, venturing into the fringes, suggest it could be linked to Atlantis, a sister civilization with shared roots in a forgotten global network. The Aztecs' advanced astronomy, mathematics, and urban planning echo the sophistication Plato attributed to Atlantis. Could Aztlán have been a colony or remnant of a greater culture, its story carried across oceans by ancient voyagers? This brings us to Mu, the lost continent of the Pacific, a legend that rivals Atlantis in its audacity. Proposed in the 19th century by explorer Augustus Le Plongeon, Mu was imagined as a vast landmass in the Pacific Ocean, home to an advanced civilization that predated all others. Le Plongeon, studying Maya ruins in Yucatan, claimed to have translated the Tro-Cartesian Codex, a Maya text which he believed described Mu as the cradle of humanity. According to his theory, Mu's people built pyramids, mastered technology, and seeded civilizations in Egypt, Mesoamerica, and beyond before their continent sank 12,000 years ago during the last ice age. This catastrophic loss, he argued, explained similarities between distant cultures, from pyramids to writing systems. Le Plongeon's ideas, though dismissed by modern scholars, captured the public's imagination. His translations were later debunked, riddled with errors and imaginative leaps, but the concept of Mu took root, popularized by writers like James Churchward in the early 20th century. Churchward claimed to have found ancient tablets in India, describing Mu's advanced society, with cities, roads, and a population of millions. He placed Mu in the Pacific, stretching from Hawaii to Easter Island, and argued it sank due to volcanic upheavals or tectonic shifts. The idea resonated with myths of lost lands across Pacific cultures, like the Hawaiian legend of Hawaii or Polynesian tales of sunken islands, fueling speculation that Mu was a real place, perhaps even Atlantis's Pacific twin. Science, however, tells a different story. Plate tectonics, a cornerstone of modern geology, shows no evidence of a sunken continent in the Pacific. The ocean floor, mapped in detail, reveals volcanic chains and seamounts, not a lost landmass. The similarities Le Plongeon and Churchward saw between cultures are now explained by parallel evolution, humans in different regions developing similar solutions to common challenges. Yet, the absence of evidence hasn't dimmed Mu's allure. Fringe theorists propose it was a hub of advanced technology, its people wielding energy sources or even psychic abilities. Some link Mu to Atlantis, suggesting both were outposts of a global civilization, perhaps guided by extraterrestrial mentors. The Yonaguni monument, with its enigmatic stone structures, is often cited as a possible relic of Mu, though geologists argue it's a natural formation. What binds El Dorado, Aztlán, and Mu is their power to captivate, to make us question the limits of history. Each carries echoes of Atlantis, a lost place of grandeur, its memory preserved in stories but absent from the archaeological record. El Dorado's golden promise drove explorers to map the Americas, uncovering empires like the Inca. Aztlán's myth shaped the Aztec identity, their capital, a mirror of a lost ideal. Mu's tale, though scientifically dubious, reflects humanity's longing for a unified origin, a motherland that ties us all together. Could these legends share a common root, a faint memory of a civilization that spanned the globe? The idea of a prehistoric network connecting Atlantis to these fabled places is tantalizing. It suggests a world where knowledge flowed across oceans, where cultures shared secrets we've yet to rediscover. These myths also carry a darker undertone. Each speaks of loss not just of cities but of ideals. El Dorado's greed drove conquest and destruction. Aztlán's migration hints at conflict or environmental collapse, and Mu's sinking evokes a catastrophe that resets civilization. Like Atlantis, these stories warn of fragility, of societies that rose to greatness only to fall. They challenge us to look beyond the surface, to seek the truths hidden in legend. Could these cities be fragments of a larger puzzle, pieces of a forgotten history that Atlantis anchors? As we ponder this, we turn next to real cities that vanished: Pompeii, Angkor, Petra places that, unlike Atlantis, left tangible ruins. Their stories, grounded in archaeology, may hold clues to the fate of their mythical counterparts. The legends of Atlantis, El Dorado, and Mu captivate us with their mystery, their promise of worlds swallowed by time. But what of the cities we know were real, their stones and stories unearthed from the shadows of history? Pompeii, frozen in ash beneath a vengeful volcano. Angkor, a jungle-clad empire of temples abandoned to the ages. Petra, a city carved into desert cliffs, its glory faded into silence. These are not myths but tangible relics of human triumph and tragedy. Unlike Atlantis, their ruins speak to us, offering clues to their rise and fall. Yet, their stories echo the same themes of hubris, catastrophe, and loss that define the legends. Could these real cities hold the key to understanding Atlantis's fate, or even hint at a deeper connection to a forgotten past? As we explore these vanished worlds, we'll uncover their secrets, their splendor, and the forces that consigned them to oblivion, drawing us ever closer to the enigma of the lost. Let's begin with Pompeii, a Roman city near modern Naples, Italy, immortalized by one of history's most devastating natural disasters. On the 24th of August, 79 CE, Mount Vesuvius erupted with apocalyptic force, unleashing a torrent of ash, pumice, and pyroclastic surges, deadly waves of gas and molten rock that obliterated everything in their path. Pompeii, a thriving port city of about 11,000 people, was buried in hours, its sister city Herculaneum annihilated even faster. The eruption's first phase rained pumice stones, forcing residents to flee or seek shelter. By dawn, a series of pyroclastic flows swept through, killing those who remained and sealing the city under meters of volcanic debris. This catastrophic burial, while tragic, preserved Pompeii in a time capsule, its streets, homes, and even bodies frozen in the moment of destruction. Rediscovered in the 16th century by architect Domenico Fontana during canal excavations, Pompeii's full excavation began in 1748 under Spanish engineer Roque Joaquín de Alcubierre. What emerged was a snapshot of Roman life. Villas adorned with vibrant frescoes, bakeries with loaves still in ovens, theatres, baths, and temples dedicated to gods like Apollo and Isis. The plaster casts of victims, their final moments captured in agony or desperation, reveal the human toll of the disaster. Amphorae, filled with wine, mosaics depicting mythical scenes, and graffiti scrawled on walls offer a vivid glimpse into daily life: merchants haggling, lovers confessing, politicians campaigning. Pompeii's preservation is unmatched, a window into a world that feels both distant and hauntingly familiar. What caused Pompeii's fall? Vesuvius's eruption was a natural catastrophe, its violence rooted in the region's volatile geology, part of the Campanian volcanic arc. Earlier earthquakes, like one in 62 CE, had damaged the city, but residents rebuilt, unaware of the looming disaster. The eruption's suddenness mirrors Plato's account of Atlantis's destruction, a city erased in one dreadful day and night. Could Pompeii's fate have inspired such tales? A real event woven into myth. The parallels are striking. A prosperous society, thriving on trade and culture, obliterated by nature's wrath. Yet, unlike Atlantis, Pompeii's ruins endure, proof of its existence. Its story reminds us that even the most vibrant cities can vanish, their legacy preserved only by chance. Now, let's journey to Cambodia, where Angkor, the heart of the Khmer Empire, once reigned as a marvel of Southeast Asia. From the 9th to the 15th centuries, Angkor was a sprawling metropolis, its temples and reservoirs a testament to Khmer ingenuity. At its peak, it housed up to 1 million people, making it one of the largest urban centers of its time. Angkor Wat, the world's largest religious monument, stands as its crowning jewel, its towers symbolizing Mount Meru, the cosmic mountain of Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. Built in the 12th century by King Suryavarman II, its bas-reliefs depict epic battles and celestial dances, while its precise alignment with the stars hints at advanced astronomical knowledge. Angkor's decline began in the 14th century, a slow unraveling driven by a web of factors. Religious shifts from Hinduism to Buddhism and back disrupted social cohesion, with new temples built and old ones neglected. Invasions from neighboring powers, like the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty and the Siamese Ayutthaya kingdom, strained the empire's defenses. By the 15th century, the Khmer capital weakened, its population dwindling. The final blow came in the 16th century, when Angkor was abandoned, its temples reclaimed by the jungle. When French explorer Henry Mouhot rediscovered Angkor in 1860, he found a city of 910 monuments, from grand temples to crumbling reservoirs hidden beneath vines and roots. What doomed Angkor? Environmental factors played a key role. Tree ring data and sediment cores reveal severe droughts in the 14th and 15th centuries, crippling the city's agriculture. Angkor's vast hydraulic system canals, reservoirs, and barrages depended on monsoon rains to irrigate rice fields. When the rains failed, famine loomed, weakening the population. Heavy monsoons later damaged the infrastructure, flooding canals and eroding soil. Political instability compounded these woes, with internal strife and external attacks fracturing the empire. The Khmer kings, once seen as divine, lost legitimacy as their people starved. By the time the capital moved to Phnom Penh, Angkor was a ghost city, its grandeur swallowed by the forest. Angkor's story resonates with Atlantis' narrative of hubris and collapse. Its hydraulic system, like Atlantis' canals, was a marvel of engineering, yet it couldn't withstand nature's caprice. The Khmer's divine kings, like Atlantis' Poseidon-descended rulers, faltered when their authority waned. Could Angkor's fall, driven by environmental and social pressures, mirror the forces that sank Atlantis? Unlike Atlantis, Angkor's ruins now, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stand as a testament to its reality, their stones whispering of a civilization that reached for the divine and fell to earth. Next, we travel to Jordan, where Petra, the Rose City, emerges from desert cliffs like a mirage. Carved into red sandstone by the Nabatean Arabs, Petra thrived from the 4th century BCE to the 2nd century CE as a hub of the spice trade, linking Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. Its iconic treasury, Al-Khazna, with its ornate facade, and the monastery, El Dir, cut into towering rock faces, showcase a mastery of stonework that rivals any ancient culture. Petra's wealth came from its strategic location, taxing caravans laden with frankincense, myrrh, and spices. Its population, estimated at 20,000 to 40,000, lived in a city of tombs, temples, and theatres, all hewn from living rock. Petra's genius lay in its water management. In a desert where rain is scarce, the Nabateans built dams, cisterns, and channels to capture and store water, supporting agriculture and urban life. Clay pipes and aqueducts, carved into cliffs, distributed water with precision, a feat that echoes Atlantis' hydraulic systems. Yet, Petra's decline was as dramatic as its rise. By the 1st century CE, it fell under Roman control, losing autonomy. Trade routes shifted to maritime paths, bypassing Petra and draining its economy. Earthquakes in 363, 419, 551, 561, and 747 CE devastated the city, crumbling its infrastructure. Rising groundwater salinity corroded buildings, and by the 12th century, Petra was largely abandoned, its inhabitants scattering to smaller settlements. Rediscovered in 1812 by Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, Petra revealed a city frozen in time, its facades preserved by the arid climate. Excavations uncovered markets, a colonnaded street, and a theatre seating 7,000, alongside Christian churches from the Byzantine era. Petra's fall, like Atlantis's, was driven by a mix of human and natural force: economic decline, seismic upheaval, and environmental stress. Its rock-cut architecture, blending utility with artistry, mirrors the grandeur Plato attributed to Atlantis's capital. Could Petra's sophisticated engineering hint at a shared legacy with a lost civilization? Or is its story simply a parallel tale of human ambition undone? These real cities, Pompeii, Angkor, Petra, offer a stark contrast to Atlantis's elusiveness. Their ruins, meticulously excavated, tell stories of prosperity and peril, grounded in archaeology. Pompeii's preservation captures a single moment of destruction. Angkor's temples reveal a slow decline under environmental strain, and Petra's cliffs bear witness to economic and seismic collapse. Yet, their fates resonate with Atlantis's myth. Sudden or gradual, each fell to forces beyond their control. Some theorists propose a deeper connection, suggesting these cities inherited knowledge from a primordial civilization, perhaps Atlantis itself. The hydraulic systems of Angkor and Petra, the urban planning of Pompeii, could these be echoes of Atlantean ingenuity passed down through forgotten channels? This idea, while speculative, gains traction in fringe circles. The precision of Petra's water channels, the scale of Angkor's reservoirs, and the artistry of Pompeii's frescoes suggest a sophistication that could trace back to a shared source. Some argue that Atlantis's survivors, fleeing their sunken island, seeded technologies across the globe, influencing cultures from Rome to Cambodia. Others go further, proposing extraterrestrial origins for such knowledge, citing similarities in ancient engineering worldwide. While mainstream archaeology attributes these achievements to human innovation, the parallels fuel speculation that a mother civilization once united these distant lands. The allure of Atlantis lies in its elusiveness, a city lost to the ages, its existence debated between myth and history. Yet, there are cities once thought to be mere legends, their stories woven into epic poems and ancient texts that have emerged from the shadows into the light of archaeology. Troy, Mycenae, and Babylon, names that once danced in the realm of fantasy, now stand as tangible proof that myths can hide truths. These cities, once dismissed as products of poetic imagination, were unearthed by determined explorers, their ruins revealing civilizations that shaped the ancient world. As we explore their rediscovery, we'll uncover the stories that brought them back to life and ask, if these legendary cities proved real, could Atlantis too await its moment of revelation? Let's begin with Troy, the fabled city of Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, where gods and heroes clashed in a war that became the cornerstone of Western literature. Troy, or Ilion, was the setting of a legendary conflict sparked by the abduction of Helen, fought by Achilles, Hector, and the cunning Odysseus. For centuries, scholars believed Troy was a poetic invention, a backdrop for Homer's tales of valor and tragedy. Its location, described as near the Dardanelles Strait in modern-day Turkey, was thought to be a fiction, its walls and towers a creation of the bard's mind. Yet, the story's vividness, its detailed battles, its towering fortifications hinted at a kernel of truth, a real place that inspired the epic. In 1870, Heinrich Schliemann, a German businessman turned archaeologist, set out to prove Troy's existence. Guided by Homer's Iliad, he excavated a mound at Hisarlik in northwest Turkey, near the Dardanelles. What he found was staggering. A series of layered cities, built and rebuilt over millennia, their walls and artifacts confirming a settlement that thrived from around 3000 BCE to the 13th century BCE. Schliemann uncovered 9 distinct layers, each a snapshot of Troy's history. The layer known as Troy VII, dated to around 1200 BCE, is widely accepted as the Homeric city, showing signs of destruction by fire and conflict, possibly the war described in the Iliad. Among the finds were bronze weapons, pottery, and a treasure trove of gold jewelry, which Schliemann dubbed Priam's treasure, believing it belonged to Troy's legendary king. Later dating revealed the treasure predated Priam by centuries, but the discovery cemented Troy's reality. Troy's strategic location, controlling access to the Black Sea, made it a prize worth fighting for. Its walls, described by Homer as impregnable, were real, built of limestone and mud brick, some still standing meters high. The city's wealth, derived from trade and tolls, fueled its power, much like Atlantis's maritime dominance. The Iliad's account of a 10-year siege may exaggerate, but archaeological evidence suggests Troy faced repeated conflicts, possibly with the Greeks or neighboring Hittites, who called the city Wilusa. The rediscovery of Troy transformed it from myth to history, proving that epic tales could rest on real foundations. Could Atlantis, too, be a distorted memory of a real place, its story waiting to be unearthed? Next, we turn to Mycenae, the stronghold of Agamemnon, the Greek king who led the Achaeans against Troy in Homer's epic. Nestled in the Peloponnese peninsula of Greece, Mycenae was the heart of the Mycenaean civilization, a Bronze Age culture that flourished from 1600 to 1100 BCE. Like Troy, Mycenae was long considered a myth, its tales of warrior kings and cyclopean walls dismissed as legend. The Iliad portrays it as rich in gold, a city of power and prestige, its ruler commanding a vast fleet. For centuries, these stories were seen as poetic flourishes, with no physical evidence to anchor them. Heinrich Schliemann, fresh from his triumph at Troy, turned his spade to Mycenae in 1876. Guided by Homer and ancient Greek geographer Pausanias, he excavated a hill near modern Mycenae, uncovering a fortress that matched the epic's descriptions. The Lion Gate, a massive stone entrance topped with 2 carved lions, greeted him, its monumental masonry earning the term Cyclopean for its seemingly superhuman scale. Beyond the gate lay a royal palace, with frescoed halls and storerooms, and circular tombs packed with treasures, gold masks, bronze swords, and intricate jewelry. The most famous find, the Mask of Agamemnon, a gold death mask, was hailed as proof of the king's existence, though later dating placed it centuries earlier. These discoveries revealed a warrior culture, its wealth and power evident in fortified walls and lavish burials. Mycenae's peak, from 1350 to 1200 BCE, saw it dominate the Aegean, its influence stretching to Crete and Asia Minor. Its collapse, around 1200 BCE, is attributed to a mix of factors: invasions by the Dorian Greeks, internal rebellions, or earthquakes that shattered its infrastructure. By 1100 BCE, Mycenae was abandoned, its palaces crumbling, its glory fading into legend. The rediscovery of its ruins, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, bridged myth and history, showing a civilization that rivaled the grandeur Plato ascribed to Atlantis. The Mycenaeans' maritime prowess and monumental architecture echo Atlantis's naval empire and fortified rings, raising questions. Could their culture have preserved a memory of an even older civilization, lost to the sea? Our final stop is Babylon, the jewel of ancient Mesopotamia, a city whose name evokes both splendor and sin. Located near modern Baghdad, Iraq, along the Euphrates River, Babylon was the heart of a civilization that redefined human achievement. Famous for the Tower of Babel and the Hanging Garden Zone of the 7 Wonders of the ancient world, Babylon was long thought to be a myth, its biblical portrayal as a symbol of hubris, casting doubt on its reality. The Book of Genesis describes a tower reaching for the heavens, struck down by divine wrath, while Greek historian Herodotus marveled at its walls and gardens. For centuries, these accounts were dismissed as exaggerations, the city's greatness a product of storytelling. In the early 20th century, German archaeologist Robert Koldewey began excavating at Tel Babel, unearthing a city that matched ancient descriptions. Babylon's peak, under King Nebuchadnezzar II, from 604 to 562 BCE, revealed a metropolis of staggering scale. Its Ishtar Gate, adorned with blue-glazed bricks and reliefs of lions and dragons, stood as one of 8 entrances to a city encircled by double walls. Inside, temples, ziggurats, and palaces bustled with life, while canals irrigated fertile fields. The ziggurat of Etemenanke, likely the inspiration for the Tower of Babel, soared as a stepped pyramid, dedicated to the god Marduk. The hanging gardens, if real, may have been terraced structures irrigated by ingenious water-lifting devices though their exact location remains elusive. Babylon's achievements were monumental. It gave the world the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest legal codes, etched in cuneiform around 1754 BCE. Its mathematicians and astronomers laid foundations for modern science, tracking celestial movements with precision. The city's wealth, drawn from trade across Mesopotamia, fostered a society where art, religion, and governance thrived. Yet, Babylon's fall was as dramatic as its rise. In 539 BCE, Cyrus the Great of Persia conquered the city, and later, Alexander the Great's death in 323 BCE halted plans to rebuild its ziggurat. By the Islamic conquests, Babylon was abandoned, its bricks plundered, its glory fading into legend. Koldui's excavations revived its story, proving that a city of mythic proportions was real. The rediscovery of Troy, Mycenae, and Babylon carries a profound lesson. Myths can conceal history. Each was once thought fictional, yet their ruins walls, treasures, inscriptions proved otherwise. Troy's layered cities confirm a history of conflict. Mycenae's gold masks reveal a warrior elite, and Babylon's glazed bricks attest to unmatched craftsmanship. These cities share traits with Atlantis: maritime power, monumental architecture, and sudden decline. Could they have inherited knowledge from a lost civilization, perhaps Atlantis itself? Some fringe theorists propose a mother civilization, a prehistoric culture that seeded technology across the globe. The Mycenaeans' ships, Babylon's irrigation, Troy's fortifications, could these be echoes of Atlantean ingenuity, passed down through forgotten migrations? This idea, while speculative, gains traction from the parallels. Babylon's canals resemble Atlantis's rings, Mycenae's cyclopean walls echo its fortifications, and Troy's trade hub mirrors its maritime empire. Some even suggest extraterrestrial influence, pointing to the precision of ancient engineering worldwide. While mainstream archaeology attributes these achievements to human innovation, the rediscovery of these cities fuels hope that Atlantis too might be found. Their stories show that legends can hide truths, waiting for a determined explorer to unearth them. If Troy emerged from Homer's verses, could Atlantis rise from Plato's dialogues? The rediscovery of Troy, Mycenae, and Babylon proves that myths can cloak real history, their ruins rising from legend to reshape our understanding of the past. But Atlantis remains elusive, a ghost in the annals of time, its absence fueling wild speculation. What if the truth about Atlantis stretches beyond human ingenuity, into realms where ancient civilizations met beings from the stars? Modern conspiracy theories propose that Atlantis was no ordinary society, but a hub of extraterrestrial influence, its advanced technology and sudden disappearance tied to forces beyond Earth. These ideas, dismissed by mainstream scholars, ignite our imagination with possibilities that challenge the boundaries of history. Could Atlantis have been a cosmic outpost, its secrets erased by a cataclysm, an alien intervention? As we dive into these provocative theories, we'll explore the tantalizing clues, the cultural echoes, and the questions that keep Atlantis alive in the modern psyche, drawing us ever deeper into the unknown. The notion that Atlantis was connected to extraterrestrials gained traction in the 20th century, fueled by authors like Erich von Däniken, whose 1968 book Chariots of the Gods argued that ancient civilizations were shaped by alien visitors. Von Däniken pointed to unexplained feats of engineering Egypt's pyramids, Stonehenge's megaliths, the Nazca lines in Peru as evidence of advanced technology beyond human capability at the time. Atlantis, with its sophisticated canals, mysterious orichalcum, and catastrophic end, fits neatly into this narrative. Plato's description of a city with concentric rings, golden statues, and a navy that dominated the seas feels too advanced for the Bronze Age, leading some to speculate that the Atlanteans received knowledge from extraterrestrial mentors. Could their orichalcum, described as more precious than gold, have been an alien alloy, perhaps a superconductor powering unimaginable machines? The idea hinges on Atlantis's technological marvels. Plato's account of its hydraulic systems, canals, aqueducts, and reservoirs suggests a mastery of engineering that rivals modern infrastructure. The concentric rings, navigable by ships and fortified with metal-clad walls, imply a level of urban planning that surpasses known ancient cities. The Temple of Poseidon, with its colossal golden statue, would have required metallurgical and structural expertise that seems anachronistic. Some theorists propose that these achievements point to an external source of knowledge, perhaps a civilization from another world. The suddenness of Atlantis's destruction, a single day and night of earthquakes and floods, adds fuel to the theory. Could this have been a deliberate act, an alien withdrawal or sabotage to prevent humanity from wielding dangerous technology? This extraterrestrial hypothesis extends beyond Atlantis to other ancient sites. The pyramids of Giza, aligned with astronomical precision, and the massive stones of Pumapunku in Bolivia, cut with laser-like accuracy, are often cited as evidence of alien influence. The Yonaguni Monument, a submerged structure off Japan with geometric formations, is another focal point, with some claiming it as a remnant of Atlantis or its Pacific cousin, Mu. These sites share a common thread: engineering feats that seem to defy the tools and knowledge of their time. Proponents argue that Atlantis was a central hub in a global network, a place where aliens shared advanced technologies, crystalline energy sources, anti-gravity systems, or even interstellar communication before a cataclysm erased it from history. Cultural myths lend credence to these ideas. Across the world, ancient texts and oral traditions speak of godlike beings descending from the heavens. The Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh describes divine figures guiding humanity, while Mesoamerican legends of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, portray a bearded figure bringing knowledge. In India, the Vedas reference Vimanas, flying machines piloted by gods. These stories, found in cultures separated by oceans, suggest a shared memory of extraordinary visitors. Could Atlantis have been their primary outpost, a place where extraterrestrials interacted with humans, teaching them to build, navigate, and dream? The sudden loss of such a civilization, some argue, could explain the technological gaps in human history, as if a reset button was pressed, leaving only fragments of knowledge in Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Mesoamerica. The destruction of Atlantis is a key piece of the puzzle. Plato's account of earthquakes and floods is dramatic, but conspiracy theorists propose alternative causes. Some suggest an alien-induced cataclysm, perhaps a targeted energy surge or a weapon that destabilized the island's geology. Others point to a natural disaster amplified by Atlantean technology. Imagine a crystal-based power source overloading, triggering seismic chaos. The absence of archaeological evidence fuels this narrative. If Atlantis was so advanced, its ruins might have been vaporized or deliberately hidden by its creators. The idea of a cosmic cover-up resonates in modern pop culture, from films like Stargate, which imagines Atlantis as an alien-built city, to documentaries exploring ancient astronaut theories. These theories, while captivating, face fierce skepticism. Mainstream archaeologists argue that human ingenuity, not aliens, explains ancient achievements. The pyramids were built with ramps and pulleys, Stonehenge with levers and manpower, and Yonaguni's formations are likely natural, shaped by tectonic forces. Plato's Atlantis, they contend, is a philosophical allegory, its details drawn from real cultures like the Minoans or Tartessians, not extraterrestrial blueprints. The lack of physical evidence artifacts, inscriptions, or ruins undermines claims of an alien connection. Critics also note that ancient myths of gods often served symbolic purposes, reflecting natural phenomena or human aspirations, not literal visitors from space. Yet, the persistence of these stories across cultures keeps the debate alive, challenging us to question the limits of our past. Let's explore a specific claim: the role of crystals in Atlantean technology. Some theorists, inspired by Edgar Cayce, a 20th century mystic, assert that Atlantis was powered by fire crystals, or energy-storing gems. These crystals, they argue, could harness solar or cosmic energy, illuminating cities or fueling machines. While Plato mentions no such devices, his description of orichalcum, gleaming, fiery metal sparks, speculation. Could it have been a crystalline material with unique properties? Similar ideas appear in other cultures. Egyptian texts speak of sunstones, and Maya legends describe glowing orbs. Modern science offers no evidence of such technology, but the concept of crystals as energy conductors persists in fringe circles, fueled by the mystery of Atlantis's lost knowledge. Another intriguing angle is the global network theory. Some propose that Atlantis was not an isolated civilization, but part of a prehistoric superculture, connecting sites like Machu Picchu, Easter Island, and the Great Zimbabwe. These locations share architectural similarities, megalithic stones, precise alignments, and complex water systems that suggest a shared knowledge base. Could Atlantis have been the hub, its survivors scattering after the cataclysm to seed civilizations worldwide? The Piri-Reis map, a 16th century chart showing an allegedly ice-free Antarctica, is often cited as evidence of ancient cartography beyond human capability, possibly inherited from Atlantis. While geologists dismiss claims of a temperate Antarctica, the map's accuracy for its time fuels speculation of a lost global civilization. Pop culture amplifies these theories, weaving Atlantis into narratives of alien contact. Films like Indiana Jones and The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull link lost cities to extraterrestrial artifacts, while television shows like Ancient Aliens explore connections between Atlantis and sites like Göbekli Tepe, a 12,000-year-old temple in Turkey. These stories resonate because they tap into a universal human desire to believe our ancestors achieved greatness beyond our understanding, perhaps with help from the cosmos. Social media platforms, like posts found on X, buzz with discussions of Atlantis as an alien base, with users sharing images of underwater anomalies or ancient texts as proof. While these lack scientific rigor, they reflect a collective fascination with the unknown. The extraterrestrial hypothesis also intersects with myths of a great flood. Many cultures, Sumerian, Biblical, Hindu, Mesoamerican, describe a deluge that reshaped the world. Could these be memories of Atlantis's sinking, triggered by a cosmic event? Some theorists propose a comet or asteroid impact, causing tsunamis and climate shifts that sank coastal civilizations. Others suggest alien intervention, a deliberate cleansing to reset humanity's trajectory. These ideas, while far-fetched, draw parallels with modern concerns: climate change, technological overreach making Atlantis a mirror for our fears and hopes. Despite their allure, these theories face a stark reality. No concrete evidence supports an alien connection to Atlantis. The advanced technologies of ancient cultures, Egyptian astronomy, Maya mathematics, Mesopotamian engineering, are remarkable but human. Geological records show no trace of a sunken continent, and artifacts like orichalcum remain unidentified. Yet, the absence of proof doesn't quell the curiosity. The search for Atlantis, whether terrestrial or cosmic, drives exploration, from deep-sea dives to satellite scans. If Troy and Babylon emerged from myth, could Atlantis follow, its secrets revealing a chapter of history or beyond? As we ponder these possibilities, we approach the end of our journey. The myths of Atlantis, El Dorado, and Mu, the ruins of Pompeii, Angkor, and Petra, the rediscovered cities of Troy, Mycenae, and Babylon all weave a tapestry of human ambition and loss. In our final chapter, we'll reflect on what Atlantis represents, a symbol of our quest for the unknown, a reminder that even the greatest civilizations can vanish. Join me as we draw these threads together, asking what Atlantis's legacy means for us today, and whether its truth lies just beyond our reach. We've journeyed through the shadows of history, chasing the ghost of Atlantis and its fellow legendcities and continents that shimmer in the twilight of human memory. From Plato's vivid tale of a golden empire swallowed by the sea, to the gilded dreams of El Dorado, the ancestral echoes of Aztlán, and the sunken enigma of Mu, we've explored realms that blur the line between myth and reality. We've walked the ruins of real cities, Pompeii, frozen in ash, Angkor, reclaimed by jungle, Petra, carved into desert cliff sand, marveled at the rediscovery of Troy, Mycenae and Babylon, once thought to be mere stories. We've even ventured into the cosmic unknown, pondering whether Atlantis was touched by extraterrestrial hands. As we stand at the end of this odyssey, what does Atlantis mean to us? Is it a lost civilization, a philosopher's allegory, or a beacon of our unyielding curiosity? Join me, Mr. H, on Mystery History for Sleep, as we weave these threads together, reflecting on Atlantis as a symbol of mystery and the eternal human quest to uncover the truth. Atlantis endures because it speaks to something deep within USA, longing to know the unknown, to uncover secrets buried by time. Plato's story, written over 2 millennia ago, paints a civilization so grand it feels like a memory of a forgotten golden age, a city of concentric rings, gleaming with orichalcum, ruled by descendants of a god, only to vanish in a cataclysm of divine wrath. Whether it was a real place perhaps inspired by the Minoan eruption at Santorini, or a submerged island near Gibraltar, a philosophical construct to warn of hubris, Atlantis captivates us with its ambiguity. It's a puzzle with no final piece, a question that invites endless answers. Is it lying beneath the waves, its ruins waiting for a diver's torch? Is it hidden in the sands of the Sahara, or locked in the ice of Antarctica? Or does it exist only in the realm of ideas, a mirror for our dreams and fears? The cities we've explored share Atlantis's allure, each a testament to humanity's capacity for greatness and fragility. El Dorado, with its promise of golden streets, drove explorers to chart the wilds of South America, revealing cultures like the Muisca and Inca. Aztlán, the Aztec homeland, inspired a migration that birthed the marvel of Tenochtitlan, its legacy etched in Mexico's soul. Mu, though debunked as a continent, reflects our desire to connect ancient civilizations, to find a common origin in the Pacific's depths. These legends, like Atlantis, are more than stories, they're catalysts for discovery, pushing us to explore jungles, deserts, and seas. Even when they remain unfound, their pursuit unveils new truths, from Amazonian settlements to submerged coastal ruins. The real cities we've visited, Pompeii, Angkor, Petra, ground these myths in stone and ash. Pompeii's preservation captures a moment of Roman life, its people frozen mid-flight from Vesuvius's fury. Angkor's temples, swallowed by jungle, speak of a Khmer empire undone by drought and invasion. Petra's rock-carved splendor, eroded by earthquakes and shifting trade routes, whispers of Nabatean ambition. These cities, unlike Atlantis, left tangible traces, their ruins a canvas of human triumph and tragedy. Yet, their falls echo Plato's tale. A sudden disaster, a slow decline, or a mix of both can erase even the greatest societies. Their rediscovery, through the labor of archaeologists, reminds us that history hides its treasures, waiting for those bold enough to seek them. Troy, Mycenae, and Babylon take this lesson further, proving that myths can conceal reality. Once dismissed as poetic fictions, their walls and treasures emerged from the earth, thanks to visionaries like Heinrich Schliemann and Robert Koldewey. Troy's layered ruins confirmed a city of conflict, Mycenae's gold masks revealed a warrior elite, and Babylon's glazed gates showcased Mesopotamian brilliance. These rediscoveries fuel hope that Atlantis too might one day be found. If Homer's Ilion proved real, could Plato's island follow? The parallels are striking. Troy's maritime power, Mycenae's fortifications, Babylon's canal saw mirror Atlantis's grandeur. Could they be distant echoes of a lost mother civilization, its knowledge scattered across the ancient world? The wilder theories we've explored Atlantis as an alien outpost, powered by crystals or guided by extraterrestrial mentors, push us to the edge of imagination. While science dismisses these ideas, citing human ingenuity for ancient marvels, they resonate because they tap into our yearning for a past grander than we know. The pyramids, Stonehenge, and Yonaguni's submerged stones challenge our understanding, their precision hinting at lost knowledge. Posts on X buzz with speculation, from images of underwater anomalies to claims of ancient texts describing starborn visitors. These ideas, though unproven, reflect a truth. Humanity has always looked to the stars, seeking answers in the cosmos. Atlantis, as a symbol, embodies this quest, a bridge between earthbound history and celestial possibility. What makes Atlantis unique is its absence. Unlike Pompeii's ash-covered streets or Troy's excavated walls, Atlantis offers no ruins, no artifacts, only Plato's words. This void is its power, allowing it to be anything we imagine: a Bronze Age empire, a philosophical allegory, or a cosmic experiment. Its story, passed from Egyptian priests to Solon to Plato, feels like a whisper from a forgotten age, a clue to a truth just out of reach. The cities we've explored, both mythical and real, share this quality. They challenge us to question, to dig deeper, to wonder what lies beyond the horizon. Each discovery, from Schliemann's Troy to Angkor's temples, reminds us that the past is a vast, uncharted sea, its depths hiding wonders we've yet to find. Atlantis's legacy is its ability to inspire. It drove explorers to map the Atlantic, archaeologists to unearth Minoan palaces, and theorists to ponder alien influences. It's a call to adventure, urging us to explore the unknown, whether in the ocean's abyss or the pages of ancient texts. The search for Atlantis has led to real discoveries: Santorini's ruins, the Amazon's lost cities, the Nabatean marvels of Petra. Even if it remains a myth, its pursuit has enriched our understanding of history, revealing cultures and technologies we might otherwise have overlooked. It's a reminder that the unknown is not a barrier but an invitation, a challenge to push beyond what we believe possible. As we close this journey, let's reflect on what Atlantis means for us today. In an age of satellites and deep-sea drones, we've mapped much of our planet, yet mysteries endure. Unexplored ocean trenches, hidden desert ruins, and ancient texts still hold secrets. Atlantis symbolizes this frontier, a beacon for those who dare to dream. It asks us to consider our own civilization's fragility, a reliance on technology, our battles with nature, our struggles with hubris. Like the Atlanteans, we build towering cities and harness vast energies, but could we too face a day and night of reckoning? The stories of Pompeii, Angkor, and Babylon warn us that no empire is eternal, yet they also inspire hope that our legacy, like theirs, will endure in fragments for future seekers. For you, listeners of Mystery History for Sleep, Atlantis is more than a lost island, it's a spark for your imagination. Picture it in your mind, a city of golden temples, encircled by azure canals, its people reaching for greatness before the sea claimed them. Is it out there, waiting beneath the waves, or is it a story that lives in us, urging us to explore? I invite you to keep searching, to dive into history's mysteries with us. What other cities lie hidden? What truths await in the shadows? As you drift to sleep, let Atlantis's call linger, a whisper from the past that beckons you to dream of the unknown. For you, listeners of Mystery History for Sleep, Atlantis is a spark to ignite your dreams. As you drift off tonight, picture its golden temples, its azure canals, its people reaching for greatness before the sea claimed them. Is it out there, waiting in the depths, or is it a story that lives in us, urging us to explore? I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think Atlantis was, and where might it be hiding? Drop a comment, share this journey with a friend, or give us a like on your favorite platform to keep the mystery alive. If you're as captivated by these tales as I am, consider subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep to join us for more adventures into the unknown. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, for the truth is out there, waiting to be found.